everybody from Interlagos in Brazil. We are back with another race here. MX5 series is back. We had a couple of weeks off while we had some double headers with the Group 3 Manufacturer Series, but we are back in the Miata because Miata is always the answer. And we have a good-sized grid here today. It's looking like a couple people might be out, but always some close racing as we tend to have here in the MX5 series.
Yeah, it should be shaping up to be a good one around this legendary track. Again, another one. It's not an easy one, though, through that infield, huh?
No, the infield is super tight. We were running a little bit early this morning with Tony, and I haven't gotten to practice at this track. It's been a busy week, but yeah, the infield is pretty tight. Compared to the rest of the track, you feel like it's pretty open and whatnot, but then you get on the inside, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have to, drop down to second gear real quick to make this turn, and you're braking a lot harder than you can carry a lot of speed into the infield, but then as soon as it starts, it's like, all right, I gotta, you have to be on it. What's the pace difference between P1 and P2? I can't see in VR. I can't see that either. Actually, I guess I can if I jump up to...
Looks like 4/10 right now between Moose and Arctic.
Yep. Yeah, you got Moose with a 1:45. Actually, well... Oh, Winter, where are you? Are you in the pits? You're in the pits. Okay, I got you. Winter's still holding the fastest lap for practice so far with a 1:44.8. But I guess since he's in the pits, the game's not showing that at the moment. Oh, Moose actually puts up he only puts up a faster lap than Arctic in practice and jumps into that P2 slot for the time being. We've got a couple minutes left in practice here, and then we'll be getting in qualifying. So this is a track where we noticed a lot of track penalties were like heavy-handed in the game earlier this week. So I think
similar to Watkins Glen.
Yeah, Watkins Glen was very bad. Just like I mean, like 4.5 seconds. I think at some point we saw for one of the drivers during practice this week. So we've adjusted those settings this week again because those can be pretty detrimental to your race, especially with the Miata, where it's not the fastest car in the world. So 4.5 second penalty is like race ending. It feels like, at least. And of course,
no, absolutely. We
just
don't want
like
penalties to make or break someone's race,
to an extent, I guess, right? But we do want some close racing, and we have the two races today as well. I feel like it's been a minute since we had a reverse grid, because we've had the break for the MX5 series for the couple of weeks. So we'll have our first race where, with qualifying starting, that'll determine the grid spots for the first race, and then we'll follow that up with a second race where the finishing positions from the first race will determine the starting grid for the second race. So, if you haven't seen that before, if you're new here, welcome. What a reverse grid is, so let's say the first race, Gilly is currently at the top of the pace. So let's say Giller wins race 1, he'll start at the back of the grid for the reverse grid. And whoever comes in last in the first race will be in first place on the start on the second race. If it sounds confusing, don't worry, it really isn't. You'll see what happens as we get going here with the races. But I was just taking a look here at the points that we have going on, and we have a pretty tight fight going for the first place currently. We have Tony Cow with a 155 points total, Arctic in second with 150 points.
Yeah, they're shaping up to be quite tight. I know we were talking to Tony Cow earlier today, and his projections based on the rest of the season, I guess that each driver's average performance puts him and Arctic and Moose pretty damn close, and that includes the MX3 races, the Group 3 races rather as well.
Yeah, obviously we have different points for each of those for each series, but it's gonna be very close. And if any driver has a bad start or has a bad race, I mean, that could just put them points back. If any of these guys end up missing a race, they're going to be even further down. So, I'm excited to see how this race goes. And obviously, we've seen some extremely close racing in this series, especially. We were just talking about Watkins Glen a little bit earlier, and I can't believe, how we were having three cars go three wide into the bus stop there. Obviously, here again, some parts of the track are wider than others, and then like you said, the infield is super tight. So I can imagine that we'll probably see some passing here. You know, we have some fairly long straights on this track that I wouldn't be surprised to see some guys, you know, getting the toe and trying to keep up with each other. And, you know, like we've seen time and time again, right? These trains form, and, you know, we end up seeing the field kind of spread out between 2 to 3 packs, let's say. And looks like we are getting qualifying underway here in just a few moments.
Yeah, you know, I was going to say about those trains, and I think it's going to lead to people trading places maybe during the race. Again, there is no fuel or tire wear in this series, so it's all just hard racing for those 30-minute stints. And I'm excited to see how these drivers do today. Again, this course, again, it's just that infield that's really the difficult, technically demanding part. But, you know, you may be able to use that toe effect to your advantage if you feel like you're falling behind in that in those parts. So, in the squiggly bits, as I like to call them.
Yeah, squiggly bits indeed. So we do have a 10-minute qualifying here. We were seeing, you know, that is quite the delivery from Winter. I'm sorry, I got a little dazzled by that. About like a minute 46 laps, minute 45. So these guys will have a quick out lap, and they'll have the ability to put it in quite a few, you know, good qualifying laps. And thankfully, you know, in the MX5 series, we don't have to worry about tire wear. We don't have to worry about fuel wear. So these guys can just go hard lap after lap after lap and try to put up the best times. That being said, we know the few of these guys that have tended to be fastest. You know, Winter's pretty rapid, Arctic's rapid, Moose, Billy, all these guys that, you know, generally, let's say the top 5. Tony racing maybe at he's traveling today, so he's on a controller, so he's going to start using that as an excuse if he's not coming in the top 3. We know we already.
No, we can't give him a break.
I'm not trying to give him a break. I'm just saying he's going to use that as an excuse, and we already know he's planning on that.
Oh yeah, I mean he's already got ready. You know, we were talking about penalties though. Pato, unfortunately, I think he may be crossed the pit lane exit. He's got a 3-second penalty on his out lap. Oof. Not the worst thing because it's an out lap to get it done with now, but it's still not what you want to see. These as quick as these laps can be, 10 minutes is still quite short.
10 minutes is quite short. I need to go grab my keyboard real quick for the camera change. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Yep, so right now watching Winters go around, he's got his out lap in, and I'm sure he's going to be just looking to push it here. Winter was fastest through practice, it looks like, and hopefully can keep that going. But really, we've got, or was that Moose? We've got, you know, 5 guys at the top that are going to be fighting each other for first place. Again, the winner or the fastest lap in qualifying does get an extra point towards that championship total. Everyone at the top is going to be fighting for that. As we're watching Winter go around as that gleaming bright thing, and it looks like he's coming up on the twisty bits. Let's see how he manages this. We were watching Tony Cal practice this earlier. It's not easy, and it's as he looks like he's going wide there. I'm not sure if he'll get track penalty limits there, and we saw Tony Cal kicking up some dirt there. Winter, though, looking pretty tidy otherwise. Doesn't look like there's a penalty up for him either. He's going wide there again, though. I'm shocked to see nothing popping up just yet.
Hey, we are back. We're gonna make sure this is working real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. We got some camera changes going. It looks like we got a few penalties going on. Moose with the new livery. Getting that livery doesn't seem to be helping his penalties, but you know, we'll see what happens. And just double check my hotkeys here. Boom, boom. We're good. Excellent.
I gotta say, speaking of liveries, Steve's next down in 12th has a sweet Cherry Coke Zero livery going on. Big fan. Yeah,
I can't remember. Did he have this? It's been a couple weeks for the MX5 races. I remember him posting this and loving it, so I'm glad to see we're seeing it in a race. And it's a bright and sunny day here in the Interlagos.
That's right. Hey, while you were gone, we were just following Winter go around. Winter did just set that fastest lap so far. Obviously, the others are getting in their laps. Dave Gillard knocking out Tony Cal. Demon knocking out Tony Cal.
Demon.
Waiting for the complaints coming from Tony Cal.
My controller, the lag. Oh, it's your internet. It's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's right. Now for reference, Tony Cal is in my living room on my office, so I'm sure he's going to hear me trash talking him both in stream and through the house.
Listen, there's it's nice that he has a place to race today, but he's gonna get crapped on either way, so it's all right.
I gotta say, that is a good lap from Demon, someone who I know hasn't necessarily been hooked up in this MX-5 in previous races.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to be top 3 right now, he's a good, second and change off of Giller in second. That's a great lap by Gilly, I think. But see that coming out of Demon, very, very happy to see. Hopefully he's liking this track and getting along a bit better with the car. We'll go down the list real quick while these guys are getting to it. Tony Cal in the Crocs livery. Not far off at all between Demon, but also who's right behind him, Marino. Very, very close between these two. Marino with the Pennzoil livery. Love to see that. And right behind Marino, we got Labu. So the spread from third down is very, very close, it looks like so far.
Yeah, I think, again, depending on who's getting a draft and who's not, right? Arctic right now we see slithering around behind Labu on your screen. And Arctic, I think, is anxious to get up ahead as they're mowing a little bit of grass there. Did I see? I couldn't tell if it was just the angle.
Yeah,
but we know Arctic's got pace.
He dipped the tire in the dirt there a little bit, but nothing too detrimental for him. Yeah, we know. I mean, obviously, Arctic running second in the MX5 series so far. Someone who definitely has pace, and if he wants to try and get ahead of Tony Cal, today's the day to do it, and he's going to show Tony Cal how to drive on a controller.
Notably, though, Arctic just set a new personal record, but is behind Tony Cal by 18 hundredths of a second.
Yeah, these are very, very close. And also Marino right behind Arctic. Marino is someone who, I feel like every week we keep on saying he's relatively new to this series, but he's raced a handful of times now, and he's been putting up some stellar laps here and having some great races. So very happy to see that, and it seems like he's been putting in the time week to week as he gets ahead of Demon. I'm sorry,
Steezy up at
Steezy
fourth.
Jumps up to 4. There we go. Wow. Excellent lap from Steezy then. That Coke Zero livery treating him right.
Yeah, sugar free. He could stay light on that Mazda.
That pushes Tony down to 7th, Arctic down to 8th, but this grid is so close right now. We're just over halfway done with qualifying. We're still got a few laps to go. That pushes Labu down to 9th as well. JD, someone who we haven't seen in a little while because he's not in the Group 3 series, but happy to see him again. And we got Pepsi. We got Coke for his Pepsi today.
Pepsi, man, coming through JDLP. We'll see how they do. I don't know. For me, Coke still comes out on top, but we'll see how the track times look, huh?
Yeah, we need to start these polls. And for those of you in chat, what do you like better, Coke or Pepsi? We'll see. Or grape soda if you're Purple Oracle.
I mean, I am a sucker for some grape soda. I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you that much. I love the simple purple livery with the gold wheels and everything. That looks really good. Purple's someone who in the Group 3 series seems to have a bit more success, I feel like, than they've done well in the MX5 series as well. I'm hoping that they have a bit more of a competitive lap here than their 148.5. Obviously, someone's got to be in the back, right? But I'm sure Purple's aiming to be a bit far forward. And followed by Purple, we do have our resident Zugger in the bright green livery, Pato. And did he get to update his livery with his laps lead counter in the back there?
I don't think he did. Let's take a look if we can see it there.
Just says one still.
Well, we're gonna have to upgrade that Pato. Gotta.
Ooh, 140.
He sets a new personal record.
148.8. I mean, he's not that far off from Purple at all.
No, and we know Pato puts in the laps around here.
Pato puts in the lap time for sure. So, who did to put in the even faster lap though? Moose taking potential pole away from Winter with a 145.5.
That's right. Was it Moose that had the fastest lap in practice? I couldn't remember.
No, Winter did. Unless it changed at the very end. I'm not too sure. So great lap from Moose, and he's just squeaked out a little bit ahead of Winter there. So we'll have to keep our eye on these guys. We know again. We said it earlier about, these trains sort of forming, and just with how close the top 3 seem to be, these three are almost a half second above faster than Arctic, though. Arctic in 4th, and Tony Cal taking 5th place back from Steezy Marino earlier. So, something where generally I know we see Tony a bit further up, but to be jumping on the controller, and that's not half bad. Faster than me on a controller anyway. So, and he's getting a bit of a tow from Winter here. Is he going to improve? I don't think so. And Winter, unfortunately, not able to improve to beat Moose's time. But so far, we're having a very tight grid. We'll keep our eye on these two. I'm interested to see if Winter's going to have an answer. Arctic takes first place with a 145.4.
Arctic coming out of not nowhere, but really down low.
Gilly taking
coming
first
up
place
now
with a 145.3.
Gilly's going to be happy with that. Giller's going to be happy with that for sure.
I can't remember the last time we've seen a Gilly pole position, but I would be very happy to see that. You see Purple putting in a 148.1. I think he'll still be down, be 11th. We'll see when the results pop up. But great job by Gilly. Let's jump on board with Winter, see how his lap is going, see if he's able to improve and beat that time. I mean, we're talking about very close margins here. Max Tippich at these Nords are explosive, and dude, these laps are explosive at the moment. I'm excited to see
right.
this.
They're coming down quick too. That is wicked to see.
Yeah, we had one after another there. I'm excited to see what Winter's able to do, if Tony's going to be able to make anything out of the tow he's possibly getting from Winter, or if he's just not able to catch up and keep it. Though Winter putting in a purple, I think it's a second sector. I'm not too familiar with the map. I didn't get to practice much this week, so you'll have to forgive the lack of track knowledge this week. But we do say, I do love after sector 2, when you get done with the twisty bits, it's just the track opens up again, and you can, especially in these cars, you can just floor it and really try to take as much speed as Winter takes pole position with the fastest, but Moose takes it right back. Holy Moose, that was a quick lap. Moose with a 145.066.
It's delivery. It's glazing off. Arctic sets a new record. Still only fast enough for P4.
Wow, these guys are gonna be great. That was a rapid lap by Moose. I don't know where did he pull that out of? That was quick.
He was holding on to it, man. I don't know what happened there.
I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the pros are. If there was a pro MX5 series, and you handed them a wheel, I wonder what their times would be. But this had to have been one of the best laps that Moose could have done. I don't know if we'll see a 144 ever, but this might be as close as we get. That was very impressive. It looks like we'll have Moose in first, Winter in second, Gilly in third. Dude, Winter, you guys were going at it, and then Moose came through with a 145.0. I was shocked. I don't know where that time came from. But you know what, Winter? You know who you still beat? Tony Cal. That's all right.
And that's really all we're here for, is to beat Tony Cal.
That's all we're here for. Half a second. Well, yeah, well. Let's check out these results here. So that pole position point is going to go to Moose, and he's going to hopefully not be sleeping at the launch here, the grid start here. And if he can get off the line well, he's going to want to try and make that MX5 as wide as possible. So Moose in first, followed by Winters starting second. Gilly with starting in third. Winters saying I went 144 in practice. That's pretty quick, dude.
Yeah, that is rampant.
That is quick.
2.5 tenths faster than second place here. That is wild.
Yeah, that's wild. We got Arctic in fourth. So Arctic was in first for a second, and then Gilly, Winter, and Moose said, "No, I'm gonna go faster than that. You gotta be quicker than that." And Tony Cal still holding fifth though. Good job by him, followed by Steezy in sixth, Marino taking home seventh, or at least for qualifying, I should say, and Labu coming up eighth. That's a good run for Labu, I'd say. Labu to be in the top 8, that's pretty good for him. Demon, someone who put up a quick time and just wasn't quick enough, I suppose. Still, a 146.6 for Demon's pretty good. We have Purple with a 147.2 behind him, JD with a 147.3, and our Zugger with a 148.8. So we'll be starting the race here in just a few moments, but it looks like we'll be having quite a few close fights throughout the grid. So I'm excited to see, what happens with this race. Do you think that Moose is going to be able to hold on to that first place?
I think it's going to be tough for him. I think that first corner, especially, man, if you are brave, you're going to make a lot of time on people, I think.
Yeah, that first corner is kind of tough, though. It's it seems like it tightens up a lot faster than you think it's going to. So you can, I also think the exit though leading up to the first turn, like if you're racing with someone and you have a worse, you don't have the grip coming out of that corner, you're going to lose a lot of speed going down that straight compared to someone who maybe is a bit more gentle on the throttle, or maybe they're waiting a bit longer for that. We know how tail happy that the MX5 can be.
Yeah, that's for sure, though. But again, we've seen Moose defend before. Got to make that tiny car as wide as possible, like you said. And that turn one, though, I think he's just going to have to cut off the inside, right? Obviously, though, then that leaves people to come on the outside and then have the inside line for turn two. So he's going to have to manage it well if he wants to keep that place. But we've said it before, we've said it again. The race is typically not made in the first corner nor the first lap, but it can certainly be lost in the first corner or first lap.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And I'm excited. We're going to be getting here in just a few moments. So, I mean, it's really hard to make any sort of predictions at this moment in time because any of the top five can really take the podium. You know?
Not just that, though, but we saw wicked times coming out of people we didn't expect. Demon, Marino were killing the game. Steezy came out of nowhere. I mean, Steezy's right behind Tony Cal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We just don't know, and you know, unfortunately, hopefully, there's no any sort of mayhem going on. So let's get this going. Remember, full starts are in effect. Labu and
hope no one starts in reverse.
Demon saying that Labu and he are separated by the tiniest margins. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights are up, and we wait for the lights to go out. And we are racing, ladies and gentlemen. Moose has a good start. A little bit squirrely there, but it looks like we're going to be A-okay. And we are coming down to the first turn here now.
Winter looking strong here, though. Winter on the inside again. That kind of compromises his turn two as they're getting close there. They're getting close there right around turn two. Arctic right up there fighting with Winter up into P2 now.
Yeah, that was a great start by Arctic. Arctic always seems to be able to like squeeze his way through on these MX-5 races. I don't quite understand what it is about, you know, he just like oils his car up or something like that, but he's able to slip through, and he's right behind Moose going into this next turn here. We have Winter right, and Steezy pulled up. Steezy's ahead of Tony Cal now. That was a great move by Steezy to get ahead there and maintain fourth place for now. Gilly dropping down to sixth, right ahead of Marino, and Demon, it looks like he jumped up place, currently in eighth from his ninth starting place.
Yeah, so far looking so good. Again, there's not been too much contact. I saw a couple penalties go out that people are likely going to be serving shortly around here. I believe I saw Giller had one who had went wide around turn two, I believe. Whether they were pushed or not, it didn't look like it. They were just ran out of road, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do see Giller with a half-second penalty. Half-second, I don't think will be too bad, thankfully. But we'll see what happens. Steezy takes... what happened to Winter?
And Arctic goes way wide there. I think carries too much speed. Is down in P9, and Winter is down in P10.
Winter and Arctic are
Winter's trying to make up space, being aggressive there. What happened there, I wonder?
This is exactly what Moose wants, because listen, Steezy did great to be qualified where he did, but we know Moose clearly has the pace, so Moose is probably going to be able to walk away and hopefully build up a gap. And now we have Steezy in second and Tony Cal in third, and Demon in fourth. Steezy's going to try and hold on to the spot as much as he can. Now,
that's right, and I think it was the last race we saw. Steezy was able to kind of hold his own a little bit further up the grid, but Tony Cal's going to very much welcome the toe where Steezy is going to be punching the hole in the air for his car to follow behind. Tony Cal's going to take anything he can get to not only create the gap behind him, but try to catch up to Mooseman, because no matter what, Tony Cal's going to look for a win today.
Oh, absolutely. You know that's going to be happening here. And I mean, we're jumping on board with Tony Cal right now, as you see. Maybe a little bit of a bump going into Steezy. I don't think Tony. It looks like Tony maybe didn't anticipate Steezy breaking that soon or that hard. Not too sure, but it looks like he's going to be taking this position away from Steezy. Unfortunately, went a little bit wide and now has a penalty because of it, going off track.
It's funny, we saw the exact same thing happen in practice where Tony Cal kind of gave Steezy a little love tap. Steezy breaking real hard again behind Tony Cal, maybe holding up Giller a little bit, and Steezy's got to just serve this penalty coming up soon as well.
I think we'll have to mark that down, though, real quick, just to make sure nothing happened. I think Tony Cal would have given the position back if there was anything that happened there, but just to make sure. We'll take and mark that down. It looks like Gillies can be getting P3 here soon from Steezy as Steezy serves this penalty. We have Marino up in fifth, Arctic back up to sixth already, and we see Winter in eighth. Purple on the other hand in seventh, and Arctic does have a penalty here. Purple was in 11th place, I think, and is now actually going to be passing Arctic here. So we have these guys trading positions like it's the job right now. and Arctic and Winter both trying to make their way back up the grid. We'll have to. I'm curious to see what happened between those two. Maybe it was just a shared, fault. They both went wide, or one of them pushed each other. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Demons all the way down P12. Looks like there was something that happened there. I'm sure Pato will welcome P11 currently, but Pato's holding on to the back of Interlagos, thankfully, and again, hopefully can keep that place and make up some ground. Demons not far behind. They'll look at reclaim some places, I'm sure.
Yeah, I feel like earlier in the season and especially preseason testing, it seemed like Crispy had a curse, but now Demon seems like he's been cursed the last few races here. Unfortunately for him, but Pato over here going to be trying to maintain that 11th place, and I'm sure when Demon gets up close to him, he'll be fighting to keep that 11th place and see what else he can do. We're going to jump back up at the front of the grid, see how these guys are faring. Moose now 4 seconds ahead of Tony in second place, and this is exactly what this man wants.
Yeah, Moose is pretty much, as you would say, payphoning his way around right now, enjoying himself. That green livery looking nice, though, around Interlagos for sure, with the Brazilian colors. And he's looking pretty comfortable there with, like you said, over a 4-second lead now to Tony Cal in P2. And Tony Cal being a P2 is definitely not something I think he expected, nor we expected.
No, whatever incident happened with Arctic and Winter to be causing them to be shot down to the back of the pack. Unfortunate for them, but they're also no strangers, especially in these MX-5s, to be moving up. It's moving up through the pack. They're just going to treat it like it's the reverse grid at this point, and see what happens as Dave Giller is just right behind Tony Cal, going down this main straight, closing that gap up. Is he going to make it? He's going to have to make a move, I think, because otherwise they're carrying too much speed. But Tony Cal has the inside line and breaks maybe a little bit later, I think, than Gilly, and is going to maintain that position. I think that was a great job. Oh, as Gilly gets a little bit squirrely, he's going to go into the grass. Rear tires end up in the grass. Does he save it? He does save it, but that was close from Giller. And unfortunately for him, that puts him down in 4th place as Steezy is taking him. And Winter is having to look up, and when Winter easily with that speed passes Gilly on this little straight here, coming on to this next left-hander. Now we have Marino. All these guys are real close together now. Giller is going to be really upset for that mistake, and he's going to be fighting these guys now. For third, it looks like, as Winter takes third back from Steezy. Winter is on fire today.
Yeah, Winter is looking so good to catch all the way back up. I think Arctic actually got stuck behind people for a little bit longer. Winter was just able to make some moves happen. I saw Arctic had to get past Purple and JDLP, and they're just sitting back there in P7 right now. But again, do not sleep on Arctic. I'm sure he'll be fighting his way back up soon.
No, look at this colorful train that we have going on. A little bit of bumps between these guys as they're, trying to stay close on the inside of this track here. And I mean, respectful driving for the most part. No penalties. No one being shoved wide or into the dirt. So you love to see that. Giller is having to fight for his life right now with all these guys just passing him. I don't know if he's got shooken up a little bit by that accident, but as we see,
I'm sure between that and dirty tires,
Yeah, they will stick with you for a couple of turns as well. That, especially going into the inside of this track, definitely doesn't make that any easier. But we're going to be turning another lap here, lap 5 coming up for here at Interlagos, and obviously the action is not stopping yet. It's always fun to see. We've grown a really strong midfield pack, I feel like here. We constantly see these guys, Marino, Steezy, Demon. Demon seems to fight. We've been saying this since preseason. Demon's fighting everyone on this field. He's but
including himself.
Giller, tends to fall back sometimes, and he's fighting these guys. Arctic obviously fighting to get through as well. Really keeps the entertainment for us nice, while Moose just walks away from the rest of the pack.
Oh yeah, as we see there, just Steezy was sliding around a little bit as Arctic pulls away ahead of him. Now Giller is right behind Steezy. I think it's going to be important for Giller here to try to make a move before the curvy bits, because he's not going to want to get slowed by Steezy at all. We'll see what he can do.
We're on board with Giller right now, and looks like he's
Giller's
being
having
patient.
A look, and Steezy goes a little wide. I don't think so, though.
Ooh, man, that was a little close between Arctic and Steezy. Felt like just a little bit of love taps here and there. I think trading paints. Curry Bits is his burner screen name system.
You caught me, goddamn.
Oh man, that was perfect. As I see here, Steezy though holding his own, getting just past just past Giller just getting past Steezy there. But Steezy having his elbows out today. He's like, man, I was up in second for a few there. He had a taste. As Gilly goes a little bit wide, Steezy have the inside line on this turn. Is he gonna be able to maintain place? If they're side by side, Steezy's now ahead of him on the place marker. But this is a long straight. We're gonna have to see what happens.
Yeah, Giller's probably having a little PTSD here from his moment up behind Tony Cal. Steezy having a great run. Marino, though, careful with Marino. He's going to have him on the inside, baby.
Are we going to go
three wide as it closes up here, man? That is dangerous. Yeah, Marino just takes a step back and says, all right, I'll relax. I'll get this at another time. But Giller, importantly, is ahead at the end of turn 2. And Steezy, though, is going to have a tow along this big straight. I don't know, man. Giller's got to make sure he keeps Steezy behind him and does not fall behind. As Arctic, thankfully, ahead of him. Looks like he's got a 1-second penalty. Giller's going to be breathing happily about that. But Steezy on the inside again. Steezy's not giving it up, and rightfully so.
Not at all. Maybe pushed Giller a little bit wide, but didn't force him off track limits. I don't think so. He'll live to fight another day, and that's just racing at that point. Purple, though, right behind these guys. I mean, Marino's benefited from these two fighting, and Purple, especially from the 4 or 5 of them fighting, is benefiting by, hopefully able to be catching up with these guys and, maintaining that position and possibly even passing them at some point. This is a great battle.
Purple's one whose consistency has helped him in the past, and I think it's going to continue helping him so long he races. Again, may not be the fastest driver, but can clean up the scraps from people who are fighting ahead.
Yeah, we're back on board with Gilly real quick, staring at the rear bumper of Steezy with this little cherry emoji there, and this is a view that I'm sure Giller's getting tired of seeing it for a few laps now, but it seems like he might be seeing it again lap after lap. Because unfortunately, it looks like JD left the room. I hope everything's all right. Might be a connection issue, and unfortunate for
note that down.
Unfortunate for JD. Yeah, it looks like lap 6 he was kicked out for some reason, but looks like here Giller's going to have the run again. It's a long straight, and the slipstream helps these guys out so much. But at Arctic right now, we're catching up with 2. Arctic had to serve the penalty, I believe. And it looks like Steezy is ahead of Arctic. Steezy's now in 4th. Giller in 6th. It's, oh no, that was a bit of contact right there.
Sloppiness there. Yeah, I think so. Looks like some contact between Steezy and Arctic and caused Arctic to go wide, Steezy to get sloppy. It doesn't look like it really was too much for them, but I know Arctic likes to push hard, and maybe it wasn't a place he shouldn't have been at that point. Not really sure.
Yeah, we'll keep note of it as well anyway, but doesn't look like Steezy felt the need to slow down and give that position back or anything like that. Thankfully, Arctic's still holding 6th place. Again, he's no stranger to being able to work through the pack, but will be interesting to see from their point of view exactly what happened after the race. Arctic, like you said, Winter's now up in 3rd, and if we check up on him, 5.5 seconds between him and Giller, because Giller just got stuck behind fighting Steezy and those guys. But unfortunately for Tony Cal, that half-second penalty means that Winter, if he's not going to pass, he's going to be awfully close to passing him. And that is unfortunate.
And it's funny you say that because I think Tony Cal was really counting his blessings here today. Again, he'll take the highest finish he can. He wasn't expecting to finish P1 or even P2. He even said he would be happy with the P5 finish, but that penalty is certainly not going to help him maximize his damage limitation today.
No, this penalty zone is really not in the best spots if you're serving it. So, and we can see that time coming down. Winter creeping ever closer to Tony Cal's rear bumper here. That time is coming down. I don't think he'll be close enough by the end of the straight to make a move, but obviously Winter has the pace today as well compared to Tony Cal, and he's taking a bit of a tighter line there. Interesting to see compared to Tony's a bit wider line into that first turn, but it looks like they're both out okay. Winter carrying a bit more speed on the slight downhill section of those turns, and it looks like he's going to be right behind Tony Cal going through here. I'm sure he'll be making a move sooner than later, but hopefully we see a respectful move from Winter. He knows he's got the pace. He can kind of be patient and just kind of wait for that door to open up for him.
That's right. Now behind them in P4 and 5, we're watching Arctic v Giller v Steezy v Marino. All of them now coming up onto the twisty bits tip, curvy bits, whatever you like. And they are again at it. I think this fight for P4 is really going to be our main source of content right now. But I'm loving to see it lap after lap.
Yeah, this is, again, we saw it last week too at Monza with the Group 3 series, and we had a lot of these guys fighting, for quite some time, and you love to see Arctic pushing hard and going a bit wide, once again going into the grass a little bit, but it looks like he's A-okay. And I'm going to jump on board with Marino real quick. Marino's got the best view of the house currently. If we jump on board, he's able to see all of these guys just kind of, going around and around in front of him. And, he's kind of in the position. He's not quite close enough to Steezy to be making a move. But if any of these guys makes a mistake, he'll have the time to be able to react to it and probably take advantage of it. However, if he wants to stay in this pack, he's got to get a little bit closer. I think, obviously, that time is coming down from Steezy. I don't know if he's getting any sort of toe at this range. He's about half a second behind, and it doesn't look like it. It actually looks like Steezy, whether he got a better exit or is getting a bit of a toe from the guys ahead of him, is able to pull away just a little bit. But Marino's got to stay nice and close in these parts of the track and the turns to really catch up. And it looks like he does just that as these guys are fighting. Gives a little bit of a bump draft almost to Steezy. It looks like he says, "Hey, let's keep up with these guys. Let's we're not trying to get out of this fight just yet." I would love to see Steezy or Marino take fourth away from Arctic and Killer.
Yeah, again, we want everyone to win here, but it's always fun seeing those that maybe aren't the typical front runners fighting up front.
Oh, and you know what though? I mean, I'm sure right now he's just sweating trying to race today, but Tony Cow, especially with Winter probably right behind him now. Yeah, so he has another penalty he's gonna have to serve. That's just gonna give Winter the position right away. Winter can just be patient. But Tony Cow's gotta love seeing Arctic further down in the grid because, like we said earlier, Tony Cow is leading this series by 5 points. Arctic is 5 points right behind him. So if Tony can maintain, even 1 or 2 spots ahead of Arctic for the end of race 1, he's going to love to see that.
Yeah, well, notably here, this penalty from Tony Cal was actually a result of a bit of a bump from Winter, and it caused Tony Cal to lose the rear end and cut a corner, and obviously Gran Turismo doesn't take context into effect, so he got a penalty for track limits when really it was no fault of his own. Okay. And I think Winter took that into consideration there because he notably did not pass him that 1 second penalty.
He definitely could have, but yeah, that's good to see, good sportsmanship, and obviously Winter's just trying to help them both maybe catch Mooseman, who is 14 seconds ahead of the pack now. Moose is just having the drive. He's on a Sunday drive at this point.
Yeah, I don't think they're even trying to catch up at this point. They're just trying to create the gaps with the people behind. And Winter maybe was pushing Tony a little bit too much, too hard there. That love tap was a bit more than a love tap, but notably they have 3.5 seconds to Giller behind a P4. That second penalty obviously not helping, but Giller sees them and is saying, hey, we want to catch up to them there. So maybe, just maybe, Giller and the people behind him will stop the fighting and try to catch up.
Well, it does look like they have separated a bit. I don't know what happened, but they're not, the pack seems to be separated just a little bit. But we are coming on to the Curry Bits TM section of the track here, where we know things to get tightened up just a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. But Giller is holding 4th place right now. Arctic steady in 5th, and like you said, if they're able to keep that gap going, Arctic's currently almost 20 seconds ahead. Or 20 seconds behind, rather. So he's got his work cut out for him if he's going to even be able to catch up to the guys ahead and try to take a podium spot.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we know that Arctic tends to be a rather aggressive driver. Not aggressive as in maliciously aggressive, as Giller is getting a little bit sloppy there, and I think is letting Arctic catch up. But whereas Giller is a very patient driver and waits for the right opportunity to strike, Arctic throws it all at the wall, sees what sticks, and leaves nothing out there, or leaves it all out there, I should say.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be a driving style of his. But Arctic is going to probably having a look here, I'd imagine, on this run up. Yeah, just look how close he's getting. He pulls along the inside, which seems to be a favored line for these guys as they pass each other. And he may be going a little bit wider than he thought he was going to, but he makes the spot stick. And he's firmly ahead of Gilly at this moment in time. He saw that opening and he was able to take it, and Gilly gave him the space to do so.
Yeah, it's interesting because going on the inside there, yes, it's downhill, and yeah, it's a little bit of a tighter exit, but I think the slight camber in the road might also help you be able to take some more speed into it.
Absolutely. And unfortunate for Gilly, he does have a 1 second penalty. I don't know if he went wide or what, but that's that's going to help Steezy catch up, and Marino as well if he's able to keep up with Steezy. It looks like Steezy may just have a slight bit of pace on Marino today. But we're going to jump down the grid real quick, see how everybody else is doing. We'll catch up back up with these guys in just a few. We're on board with Urkel right now. Demon in 9th, right behind him though, and he's going to have a look here. See, Demon obviously someone who we were surprised to see had a great qualifying lap at first, and then he was kind of pushed back as others around him had slightly better laps. But overall, qualifying was fairly close today, so I'm sure Demon is thirsty and hungry to be fighting someone, and he sees purple in his sights, and he's going after him. So good to see that from Purple and Demon. We got Labu down in 10th currently. He's about a second to change off from the guys ahead of him. Just gotta keep his head down and get into the fight with these two. And I'm sure we'll end up seeing a fight for 8th, as long as they maintain a bit of they keep themselves on the road. And then we have
Wally, why don't you cut on board with Steezy next real quick. Steezy having to run down the main street on Giller. Because of Giller's second penalty that he had to serve, Steezy didn't even have to fight to get in front of Giller there. He went around the outside, didn't need it. And Steezy taking P5 again. Giller's going to have to fight to get ahead of him.
There we go. Unfortunate for Giller, but that's just, oh man, and it looks like we might be going too wide into this next turn. Giller's going to have a run here on Steezy. Steezy's going to have to defend, make that car extra wide. Let's see what happens as we come on down here. And now Giller maybe backs off just a little bit. Again, Giller being the patient driver we've seen time and time again, he's willing to wait for his chance. He's willing to wait for it.
Yeah, he really is. Again, I think he knows maybe it doesn't always pay to be aggressive. I think if you can hold your driving line more and take the opportunity when the other driver messes up. But, we got just under 10 minutes left in this race, and Giller needs to put in some really rampant, clean laps, to possibly take back that place from Arctic now.
Yeah, you know what, though? I mean, the more they fight, the more that's going to be handy for Arctic. If Arctic's able to put the clean laps down himself, he's going to be able to catch up to Winter and Tony. I'm surprised to see these two still keeping this order. I don't, Winter obviously has the pace. I don't know if they're just trying to keep Arctic away or not, but you're going to have to do better than that, I suppose. Unless Tony Couch is doing a really, really great job of defending today, which obviously, that's in his best interest is to keep Winter behind him. But at this point in time, Winter's awfully close behind him. He's going around the outside going to this first turn. It looks like he's not going to make a move.
Yep, and behind them looks like Giller is now making the move on Steezy at turn 1. And Giller easily gets it done. So these two are just trading places, like I said. And maybe Giller getting a little sloppy there, but he maintains the spot. But we mentioned before with that straight, if you get a better exit on the penalty or the last corner. But here we go. Steezy again having a look at Giller as they're coming down this other straight. What are they going to do?
They're coming down here, and I'm sure Marino is just waiting for one of these guys to make a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, Marino's being patient in the back there. 8 minutes to go. Marino either has to step on the gas and make that overtake happen himself.
Yeah, I think he's got the pace. He's gonna have to show it now, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, hey, the great job with Steezy. We saw a little bit of elbows out, but I think that's just more or less driving. Actually, right there between the two of them again. But they're just continuing to go at it, and Giller, a fantastic driver, we know. Both of them being very respectful, but now them fighting again, we see Marino closing the gap now because of that.
You know what I said earlier when I said I'm not sure if we'll see a 144 in the race? Moose is just putting hot laps in right now, put a 144.8.
Moose, come on now.
He's not just trying to leave these guys in the dust. He's trying to go to a different time zone, I think.
I think so. Notably, Arctic is taking down the gap to Winter at P3. It's now 2.4 seconds. Curious to see what Arctic's able to do. We'll check in with him a little bit, but we have this midfield battle going on still for another lap, and Marino is ever closer now. He's going to be reintroduced to the mix. Giller behind Steve. I think maybe Giller knows that this is a more impactful place for him to be. Down this main street, you get the toe and just overtake the car in front without fighting so much. But we'll see if Steezy changes his approach here.
we'll see. I think Gilly really needs to maybe try taking that inside line if he wants to get past on that main straight. Obviously, Steezy's going to try to take it, but if Gilly can, I think we're side by side actually going into this next straight as well. But maybe play some mind games and try to trick him into going, defending in a different place and maybe doing the old switcheroo, if you will. He might, think about trying that. I mean, I'm not the one driving, so it's easy for me to say, hey, try this. But obviously, if they keep doing the same thing, we'll have to lap. But we still see here Gilly on the inside, going onto the inside of the track. And Gilly is ahead, but Steezy's going to have a look on the inside here, too. And Marino is now up in this fight with these guys. Marino.
That's right, and hopefully Marino didn't wait too long as Steezy and Giller again going at it, and Marino's just going to eat this up, I think.
He's got to, and if he's going to make it, he's got to, not only he's got to keep up with these guys throughout this twisty bit while they're fighting, but he has to be able to stay on them. Now, as we see Gilly going wide, I don't know if Steezy had a bit of contact there that caused him to go wide or not. I wasn't on that onboard, but just to make, absolutely. It could have been, Gilly just pushing a little bit too hard and taking too much speed going into that corner, because again, it's easy to light the rears up on these cars and just, all of a sudden you're sideways and you're not pointing forward anymore. But unfortunate end for that fight for Gilly. I know we've still got some time left, so he's going to be doing his best to keep up with these guys. But now Marino going to be taking advantage of anything that might have happened, and he's going to be trying to get past Steezy here. Marino really, he was fighting a bit earlier, but then he dropped back. He hasn't been fighting anyone for the last few laps. He's been really just fighting himself and trying to keep up with these two. So if he's able to get past, and maybe just leave the fighting for them again, he could take home a P5, which would be a great finish for him. We're gonna jump on
sorry
board.
there. I was just jotting down notes. I think Steezy's going to be ecstatic no matter what, but notably, I do have a few notes, all revolving around Steezy and other players. Now, I'm not blaming Steezy, and I'm not saying that he's to blame for everything. Obviously, it all requires further investigating. But as the battle you're seeing now, any moment Steezy had with Tony and Arctic does not matter, as Winter is going for Tony Cal, and I think Winter says, oh crap, Arctic is here, I need to make a move happen. I need to make it happen now.
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of time. Maybe Tony was trying to pay Winter off to defend him against Arctic. but Arctic is not making it easy for them. Arctic had to fight his way through the field a bit longer than Winter did. And I don't know if Winter was just trying to be very patient or what, but I'm surprised to see that he just is finally making a move on Tony here. And Tony is going to have the defense of his life if he's going to defend against Arctic. Arctic, a proven controller player. Obviously, we know Tony's usually on the wheel in VR as well. So he's out of his element today. He's been doing well so far, and to keep his position. But it looks like Arctic's having the run here on Tony Cal on this main straight. Tony now in the 4th position, but I'm sure he's going to be trying to fight with all his life and going into this. Arctic has the inside line going into this first turn. Tony going to have the inside line, but Arctic carrying a bit more speed going off track. I don't know if he's going to get a penalty for that or not.
I don't know. Maybe it looks like he was potentially pushed wide by Tony Cal. Just as Arctic does have a second penalty.
He does get a penalty.
Again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Just saying what might happen and how the game might read it. But the Anthony's going to be praying and thinking whatever Gran Turismo gods out there for it. But again, it could be similar to what we saw between Winter and Tony Cal before, where if he realizes he was at full, he might just hang back. Anyway, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, these guys are usually pretty good judges as to if something was their fault or not. But at the same time, you may just say, well, at this point in the race, screw it. We'll deal judgments later. I want to take this position while I have it. Because if it's deemed not your fault, then you just gave up a position for no reason, right? At this point in the race, I think what Winter did to Tony earlier was fine. Obviously, Winter knew he had the pace to get by once again, and he has done that. But this is a bit of a different story, I think. So we'll keep our eyes on while he's serving the penalty right now, and then we'll jump back with that midfield pack. It looks like Arctic's going to serve that penalty, and is Tony going to be what? Yeah, Tony's off. So
yeah, again, like you said, you know what? If they want to bring it up, they can later. That's why we have the incident report channel, and I'm taking notes here. You know, again, the race is almost over. You got to take it what you can when it's available, right?
yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably the best bet to make. And Arctic is always usually the first person to say when they made a mistake as well. So it's nothing that I'm worried about here. Giller is now making a bit of a gap between himself and Steezy, though, almost a second and a half. And we are coming down to the closing minute of this race. So I don't think that's, unless Giller has a big moment, Steezy's not going to be taking that position away from him. We jump on board with Steezy, though. Marino is within a second behind him. He's got to be, you know, defensive here, and he's got to be able to maintain that pace. That way Marino is not able to catch up. I do think Steezy has pace here compared to Marino. I don't think he's going to make it easy for him by any means.
Yeah, I have to agree. Steezy's looking on fire today, and that's great to see. Again, took my my comment of him being mid of several races ago maybe to heart. I really don't know, but whatever inspired him to get faster, man, it's working, and he's putting the work, and it's showing in these races. Again, any incidents that need to be reported by the drivers will be and investigated later, but from what I see, everything just looks like elbows out, hard driving, right?
That's what it seems like. And we're just jumping back and forth with these guys right now, seeing where they ended up. Demon may have had another moment, I'm not too sure, but it looks like he is behind Labu now in 10th place. And, you know, good news for him.
Looking like he's got some pace, but cannot consistently stay there. Fighting with Urkel last lap, actually. Labu just put her toe at her line and cut himself up, but now to the point where he's caught up, you know, within a couple of tenths of purple, and he's got to make this count. This is the final lap. They're all seeing on their screens. Can Labu take P8?
We can see on our screens, Winter has taken second place. Tony Cal has taken third place. So Tony's going to be very happy with that result to be able to stay ahead in the championship from Arctic for the time being. And it looks like Purple will be maintaining that 8th place as he crosses the line. Good fight by Labu, though. You're happy to see that. Moose is basically on a celebratory lap as he has been for the last half of the race, basically. The last 9 laps, yeah. Celebratory. And he's got that fastest lap to take home as well for the first race. Honestly, this couldn't have been a better race for Moose, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I think Moose is really just, it was elegant and a masterpiece from him, and as soon as they were up front, they just pulled away.
Yeah, that, any whatever scrap happens with Arctic and Winter behind him, just let him walk away, and obviously he's got the pace today to back it up, so really great to see. Deeperson and Moose lapping the whole field. Dude, Moose is on his own celebratory lap. It's great to see.
No, Pato was there with him. Pato just finished up his own race.
There we go.
Pato, I think, had a few moments there, quite far behind, we know, as it happens, but that means Pato will be starting race 2 and maybe can add another couple of laps to his bumper decal as Moose crosses the line. And what an exciting first race that was. That
was a great first race. Congrats to Moose for being able to walk away with that. Winter saying he got hit off the track early by Arctic and then an unsafe region. I had a feeling that was the case. You hate to see it, but honestly, you did really well to come back up and finish. Let's see. We'll jump into our results to check out the order. And congrats to Moose for pole position in qualifying, first place and fastest lap there. Winter had to fight through the grid, and Tony Cal saying defense of my life, and he couldn't hold it off. At least you're on the podium. And Arctic also had to fight through the field. Didn't get through quite as fast as Winter did, and that resulted in a P4 finish for him. Tony Cal is going to be saying his blessings later this evening. Yeah, Gilly in 5th place. Unfortunate. I mean, 5th is a good finish for sure, but I think Gilly definitely had pace today. Unfortunately, he had just a few moments, and he was caught up fighting with Steezy and Marino for quite a bit, and Arctic as well, quite a bit there. Steezy next, man, having quite the race for himself. Marino was just barely hanging on to that pack for a while, I feel like, and but he does take home a P7. Purple taking home 8th place. Had a bit of a fight there with Labu in the end and here and there, but it didn't seem like he was under too much pressure from what we saw. Demon taking home 10th. and Paddle in 11th, and then unfortunately JD, I think ended up having a disconnect. Trying to catch up in Discord. What exactly happened? Let's see here.
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate. Demon asking who hit him lap 2, turn 1. Unfortunately, we didn't catch that on stream. I didn't see it on my screen either. But actually, that reminds me. Let me go ahead and see this replay.
Pato sent me a DM, sliding into my DM, saying somehow I put in 2 147s from my last 2 laps. Just put my head down and sent it. Man, sometimes that's exactly what you gotta do. It's it's funny how sometimes that can happen when you least expect it, right? And unfortunately, you're behind the rest of the pack, but if you can put your head down and just put in some laps, I think that's the best way to go about it. I've been there myself, and just like casual lobbies, and sometimes you make a mistake here and there, and you find yourself, off from the rest of the pack, and the only thing you can do is put your head down and try to shake it off and just focus on your lines and your braking points, and then before you know it, hopefully, if you can see that time coming down from the guy in front of you, then it makes you feel a bit better about being there and everything else. But we will be having that reverse grid here starting in just a few minutes. Tony Cal has put in the lobby together, and so in that race we'll be seeing Paddle leading off with Demon starting second, Labu starting third, and Purple starting fourth. So the front 2 rows, it'll give a chance for these guys to have defend is the name of the game. And I know Demon is here in chat. So Demon, you'll be starting second there. What do you think? What's the hardest part about the reverse grid for you, if you're able to answer? Is there a hard part about that point that is it the fact, like, I have to imagine you're trying to catch the guy in front of you who argues, they're going to be slower because they ended further behind you in the previous race, but then you've also got these faster guys coming through the pack that you want to defend from and maintain your position as much as possible. And it looks like here, I think we are just setting things up.
Yep, Tony Cal's got to manually reset it. It's unfortunate. I do think it was the last MX5 race, though. And I think it was we had Pato start, and Demon led some laps too, didn't he?
I think so. I think yeah.
It was in a second. Yep. Yeah.
So I know I'm spectating just the practice at the moment as everyone gets back in the room and we get the grid set up. I think the last time we saw this, we had a few guys, practicing their grid starts, which is what you love to see. Yeah, Demon led quite a bit of in the race too. That's what happened. Yep.
Yeah, you've got to practice your grid starts, especially from your different places. Something that you're usually not used to. You have to know where your braking points are, especially with cars coming around this grid start, right?
Yeah, it's definitely something different than what you're used to. Obviously, like someone like Pato, who generally is starting further back, and then all of a sudden be leading the front pack. You don't practice, like, I know for me, when I'm learning a track and practicing, I don't always practice a grid start. The game will start you with a rolling start generally, and you have to, have that thought process about it. Even just defending, keeping track of who's coming up behind. So the hardest part about the reverse grid, keeping track of who's coming up behind you, making sure you're hitting all your braking points at the same time is the hardest part about the reverse grid. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that way anytime I'm racing with, like, I know I haven't been able to join the weekday lobbies that we have for fun, but anytime I have anybody behind me, all of a sudden I feel like my braking points are off, or if I'm following someone, my braking point gets off because I'm not used to driving with someone else right there. It's a skill that can only be like practiced and learned in a race, and it's obviously very valuable to have, or it's valuable practice when you get it. And it's hard to have it in the open lobbies or the daily races that GT has, just because like ghosting is on sometimes, but it's not on, and like you just have people that aren't very receptive to close driving sometimes either, or respectful driving.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, right? I think that the daily races don't allow it typically because of, just the mess. It's the public, right? And we experience it in other games too, where the general public maybe isn't on your same wavelength as what you expect or want out of the game, right?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue with any general public or mass matchmaking. And that's why we have, lobbies, and hopefully you can find people that you gel with and have the same ideas. And that's where Ames was born out of, right? But the daily races are still really good practice for that, regardless, or they're really good for learning how to race around people that aren't so good as others that you race around with. And then you join a group or a lobby with racers who have good racecraft. And not only is it a breath of fresh air, but you realize that all that practice you made, maybe avoiding the issues of other drivers just makes you better in the long run.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And it looks like we are going to be getting underway here. Let me get my screen up and info ready. Oh, we are good to go. Reverse grid starting here in just a few moments. Pato starting up front with Demon in second, Babu in third, and Purple on fourth. So our first two rows there are starting off. The lights are coming up on the screen. 2, 1, and lights are out. There we go. That was a longer pause than I thought it was going to be. But we are off here at Interlagos. Tony Calvin, a great start, trying to go around Giller, who looks like he may have been sleeping, and Tony Cal is now ahead of Giller in the back there. Demon pulls ahead of Pato at the first turn, and Demon's going to try and do his very best to hit all of his points. Pato getting away as well, looks like, and Purple going to be holding up the pack a little bit longer. We've got our eyes on Purple right now, but we'll be changing through the camera as we go down here for the moment. We have some fighting behind us. Arctic somehow already up in fifth. These guys are making moves already. Demon going to do his absolute best to pull away from the pack as we get going. We see Pato unfortunately going a bit wide at the stern, and he's going to fall down the grid just a little bit here and hope he can get back on. But Demon has a track limits penalty, unfortunately, half a second. Not too bad. He'll be able to fight that through the day. Marino in the back there, though, I see some smoke. I don't know if he had to brake hard there or what, but Marino's going to have some places to make up as he's in the back of the grid now. Purple taking an eye on here on Demon. I don't know if Demon's going to be serving this penalty this lap or next lap, but Arctic already up in third, Tony Cal in fourth, Winter in fifth. These guys are going to be coming in close and fast to take these. I mean, I almost say take their positions, but holy, these guys are already up in front of in the middle, front of the back.
Yeah, I think again it was just the faster drivers, seeing what they could take advantage of quickly to move up the places. Unfortunate again, but I saw Steezy even getting his elbows out already, respectfully, and looking to make some moves, and he's right there with Winter, who was and had a couple tires in the dirt, as Purple is still up at P2. And again, I love seeing these reverse grids, man, because you get to see, as Arctic is having quite the run here on Purple, Purple's not going to be able to keep it. Oh my god, but Purple's got the toe behind Demon. What is going to be the outcome here at turn 1?
Well, let's see. Purple's going to hold on to first place for now. He has the inside line, but Arctic is taking it. Arctic has a bit of a touches Demon. I don't think that was a spot to be trying to go for a pass. You're already 2 cars wide. I do not think that's a place
that just impacted the people behind him. We had a bunch there with Winter, Steezy, and Moose Man.
And that is a second half penalty for Arctic, but he is still in third ahead of Demon now. Demon, I'm glad that Demon was able to recover from that impact, and now we have quite the pack here fighting for third. We have Mooseman, we have Winter, we have Demon, we have Steezy behind him. These guys are all trading places. I don't know, man, that you hate to see that though. I mean,
yeah, but we said it before. You cannot be that aggressive. That's not a typical place that you could overtake there, and you just can't do that. Arctic was accusing other drivers of being aggressive, but Arctic is just as aggressive.
I'm interested to see what the other points of view are from it, but from the cockpit view right there, it just there was an opening and then it closed right away. We'll have to see what what the others think about that as well. We'll mark it down. But for now, Arctic's going to be taking third place and trying to maintain that. He does have that second half penalty to serve, however, so we'll see what happens there. Let's jump down with the rest. Tony Cal actually holding first currently, Purple in second, and he's going to be happy to see that Arctic has that penalty behind him. Purple going to be trying to make this position last as long as possible, but we know that Winter is going to be passing Arctic here in just a few moments as he serves that penalty, and Winter obviously has that pace as well. And along with Winter, we have Steezy in fourth here. Steezy has Moose right behind him, breathing down his neck. And looks like Moose is going to take the inside of this line going into T1 as we cross the line for another lap here. And let's see, is Steezy's going to maintain fourth position for now. But I think Moose is going to have a better exit here. He's going to have a run coming up on the second straight here.
And Tony Cal sitting out P1 currently. Purple is not far behind from him. As you're watching Moose looking to have a move on Steezy. Again, that straight, that toe effect is powerful. Moose is on the inside right now. Will he be able to make a stick?
I think he's going to.
Probably at the head.
Ooh, Steezy, though, actually doing a great job. He does go a bit wide, though, unfortunately. Maybe outbreaking himself, and that's going to give Moose P4. And Moose now has some clean air to try and catch Winter in third place ahead of him. Demon, though, is not out of this fight yet. He's fighting with Arctic once again, going door to door a little bit with him. And I'm happy to see that. We see some respectful driving once again, finally. And Marino up in this pack as well. I'm sure Demon wants to get that position back, though. As you see Winter right on the rear bumper of Purple Urkel. Winter with a second and a half penalty, though. Purple is going to be able to get that position back, but for how long, we'll have to see. That's going to let Moose, though, catch back up to the pack, and it's going to give Tony Cal some breathing room as he holds on to first place for as long as possible. We'll jump back and we'll jump.
Great driving from Purple, I got to say. You know, holding this place. Again, they don't have the pace, but respectfully keeping their own.
Yeah, that's all you want to do, really, at this point in the race, you know. And hopefully, you know, we've had our elbows out. We've had a few door things, which happens in these sorts of races for sure. You know, when you have a car that isn't as fast, you know, you're trying to go for any.
And behind that, we got Steezy and Marino due to drag race down to turn 1.
We'll have our eye on these guys, see what happens. They all fall.
He was just able to pull ahead.
Yeah, they fall into line for now. I love it, all the different liveries on these cars too. It really helps. You know, it keeps their things interesting. You have to see. I'm loving this race with Steezy is like fighting everybody today. Demon also having to look at absolutely everyone today and like, who's my opponent today? But Marino going on the inside of this next turn. Is Marino going to be able to take it from? Steezy goes wide. Marino takes that position. Demon takes that position away. Steezy now down in 8th, and Demon looking at the rear end of Marino. Steezy actually ends up with a half-second penalty because of going off track like that. Unfortunate for him. Yeah,
that's rather unfortunate for Steezy, who, again, clearly has pace around here. Maybe pushed it a little bit too hard to keep that place because he felt Demon and Marino breathing down their neck. Demon, I'm sure, is happy to have that as he's got the inside line on Marino there. Again, just cutting down some time. Anytime you can cut out of the lap is important, and hugging the apex is one of those ways to do it. Demon going to have, I think, a good look on Marino coming down the main straight as long as he can keep this tidy.
Yeah, I mean, he's awfully close right now. Marino maybe going a little bit wide out of the turn. Demon Hunt, they have the inside line. We'll jump on board with Marino real quick to see just what the rear end of Marino looks like. And he is going to be coming around this final, I say, penultimate turn. And we have one more before we really get into the main straight, I suppose. And he is a bit
on the main
behind,
straight. Well, I was going to say Tony Cal is almost 2 seconds ahead, but we've got a train now. We've got Purple followed by Moose, followed by Winter, and Arctic not far behind there, coming down the main street right now. Purple, I hate to say it, is not long for P2, and he's going for the inside to cover that off, and we'll see what Mooseman and Winter can make. Both of them carry more speed through this. Purple maybe getting a little bit sloppy there. Not sloppy, but cutting them off, trying to keep that place. But Moose and Winter will be able to squeeze themselves in.
That was some very close racing, but notice how at the same time that was different than the scenario that we saw earlier with Demon and Arctic, and I forget who else was on the other side of Demon. Demon was a sandwich, though. Purple goes a little bit too hard, dive bombs into that corner and takes out Moose. Moose unfortunately falling back now. Thankfully he isn't too far behind him. I'm waiting to see if they would get any sort of penalty on any of them, but we will make note of that for sure either way. That was a dive bomb of a century coming from Purple, and I don't think it worked out. As you see again, Purple actually going on the inside there of Arctic. Purple's putting his elbows out. He said, "Did I do that?" And he is fighting for this position like it's his life. I mean, you'll have to see it, and I'm sure again, Purple's been someone who's been pretty respectful overall. So anything that needs to be hashed out post race will be hashed out. Obviously, Moose is still in the race, and he's fighting to get past Purple once again. I don't think we're gonna have too big of an issue here. But all this fighting is exactly what Tony Cal wants up in front. 2 seconds and change ahead of Winter. Winter is about 2 seconds ahead of Arctic in third. And if the more people can continue fighting with Arctic, the better for these guys. However, Arctic's now pulling ahead from Purple and Moose as they fight.
Yeah, but Moose is going to have this run on this long straight, already looking to pull aside Purple. They're just crossing the cross finish line. And Moose on the inside. Let's see what can happen here. Keeping it tighter, maybe Purple try to be more aware. I don't think Purple was maybe looking at their radar too much there in all the excitement, but Moose easily makes that happen. Purple, I think, maybe saying, okay, let me cool my jets a little bit.
Purple also possibly could, he realizes that he kind of had a bit of a dive bomb and took Moose out a little bit of the race. At least that's what it looked like, right? And, just letting the door open for him as well. P5, to be fighting for P5, though, for Purple, I would also be very happy for that, and I'm sure he would be happy with that result. We'll move on down just a little bit with the rest of the pack here as it's spread out now a little bit. Marino in 7th place, followed by Demon. Marino in 6th, followed by Demon here in 7th. He was fighting with Steezy for a bit, fighting with Marino for a bit, and now it seems like they have about a second and change gap between both of them. Steezy currently in 8th place, someone who has had pace both for the first race and now the second race. I'm sure he's going to be catching up sooner than later as you just see that time drifting down.
And we're going to see more Steezy v. Giller action coming up soon. Giller, I don't know if they were just waiting for the mayhem to happen or just maybe got put out, but I will not put Demon. I'm sorry. I wouldn't say that Giller is out of this race by any means. Again, we have 20 more minutes to go, but more importantly, Giller is someone that just puts 10 lap times and makes those moves when he needs to.
Absolutely, and it does look like Demon has a bit of a damage on the driver's side front, and he also, I don't know what happened at the start. He just had a horrible start. It looked like as Tony was behind him, and Tony actually ended up almost looked like hitting the wall off the grid start behind Giller, because it just looked like he maybe didn't have the best of starts as we cross the start finish line for another lap here, and Giller is getting ever closer to Steezy. So I'm sure in a few corners here there he's going to be trying to make a move here. We have Pato in 10th place, and he's got some ground to make up, but he's certainly he's doing better than he was last lap, and that's we're happy to see that. And then we have Labu down, and something must have happened with Labu because he's fighting his inner demons as well as everybody else. It seems to try and get caught up. We'll have to keep our eye on these guys as we see Steezy and Giller fighting together. It seems like Giller actually taking 8th place from Steezy. It didn't take long at all, and now we come to the inside parts of the track for these twisty bits, the curvy bits, that we love to see some close racing. And we'll move back up the grid too to see how these guys are doing. Demon getting awfully close to Marino. Marino getting awfully close to Purple here, and it looks like we may have a run here coming up as we get out of Sector 2 here, and going down to the main straight for another lap. I'm interested to see how close these guys are able to get, and if we'll see any moves going into T1.
Yeah, well, ahead of them, Moose has a half-second penalty for track limits that just occurred. Arctic has a 1-second penalty for track limits, and Winter, notably, is within half a second of Tony Cal. Tony Cal likely feeling him breathing down his neck, looking to defend as much as possible, probably knowing that it's not going to happen. And I'd be surprised if Winter has a repeat of last race and staying behind Tony Cal for so long before making a move. As we see Winter actually flashing Tony Cal on, maybe telling him we're gonna work together and create a gap. So I'm curious to see what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anything can happen, and obviously Winter knows the danger that is Arctic if you let him get closer. And Moose, let's not forget, Moose had pole position. He took first place last race, and he's obviously got pace. Winter currently holding the fastest lap for this race at this time, but that can easily be stripped away at any moment. We're watching this fight right now with Marino and Purple. Marino going to have a look on the inside here as we come on down to this next left-hander. Putting it in Purple Sector 1. And he's getting ever closer to Purple. I don't think Purple's going to give it up that easily.
No, I don't think so. Now up front, Winter is looking ever right on the rear end of Tony Cal. I'd be surprised if Tony Cal keeps the spot up, as it looks like Winter made that move. Going around the outside here again. They're in the twisty bits, the curvy bits.
Well, we're fighting.
Whatever you want to call them.
We're fighting. They're getting their elbows out though. They're trading places, and it looks like Tony's able to hold on to first place for now, but not for long. I don't think.
I don't think so either. But again, you'd think they, I mean, listen. If I were Tony Cal, I know I'm not taking home P1. Unfortunately, right? Get in front of just let Winter ahead without losing too much time, and use his car to punch a hole, because Arctic is coming up quick, and right behind him is Moose Man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely a tough, decision to make, almost, to say, you don't want to concede that easily, and you're 8 laps into the race. Anything can happen still. So I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I'd say, well, let him pass. I totally understand where you're coming from too, but at the same time, it's like, well, should I really let him pass? Because
as they're getting close there.
And they are getting close. They're coming down to a downhill section of T1, T2, T3. And, man, Arctic is just all over him.
Winter, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, Winter is all over Tony Cal. So, I mean, if you're Tony Cal, he's trying to defend as best he can. He's doing a stellar job of it for now. But, obviously, Winter has the pace today, and we know that. And I just wonder, how much help can you really do at this point, being that Arctic is in 3rd position? And, he's got to fight Moose maybe a little bit, but Moose isn't terribly, terribly close to him, especially compared to Winter and Tony.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's anyone's race, in my opinion, in those top 4 right now.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
All of them have the pace. All of them are great drivers. But again, anything can happen, right?
Speaking of anything can happen, it looks like Arctic has a penalty once more. Unfortunate for him. I don't know his track limits or what.
I'm sure Moose will eat that just up, though, won't he?
Oh, Moose is going to be looking at that, and he's going to be licking his lips.
Yeah, I think this is a similar place where Arctic had track penalties a couple of laps ago. It's interesting, because if this is a repeat thing, does Arctic just feel like the second penalty is worth whatever time he's gaining? I don't think so. But it just means to me he's pushing hard, as Moose easily gets by there. But Arctic is going to have a tow, I think, down this main straight, as we're on board with Winter v. Tony Cal coming down the main straight. Again, Winter already side by side. They just crossed the finish start line.
Let's see what happens. Tony Cal is going to have the inside line for this turn 1. And we come down through turn 1, turn 2. Tony Cal is still ahead, but just barely.
Just barely.
Good driving by these two.
Winter now with a half-second penalty.
Unfortunate for him. I don't know which turn that was from, but obviously he's having a run here on Tony coming down to this main section. But he decides to tuck in. He's going to go. Oh, maybe he's trying to do a little switcheroo. These two are side by side going into this next turn. Will the camera change for us? Thank you. And here we go. Tony Cal's still staying ahead. We'll have to see it.
Yeah, I mean, again, Tony Cal's not one that's going to give it up without a fight. As they're coming to the curvy bits, Tony Cal's got that inside line. Although, you have to slow down more to take that. We're just carrying a lot of speed through there, but does he get another track penalty? I'm not sure. Looks like his tires are maybe over. They're getting a little bit contact there. Tires sliding around.
It's
not as nice as it was before. There's less grip there. And who's enjoying all of this, though? Moose Man behind put in a purple sector 2, 1 or 2 before. And he's going to be closing that gap as these two are fighting. And we just got this half-second penalty that I'll be serving shortly.
Not only is Moose enjoying this, I'm enjoying this, because we're seeing some really, really close battling between these two. Unfortunate for Winter that he's going to be serving this penalty, but fortunate for Tony to be able to have a tiny bit of breathing room because of it. And that's going to let Moose, though, coming on the fight. And we know how much Moose loves to see Tony Cal. And
that's exactly right. And behind Moose, Arctic had to serve a penalty as well. So,
absolutely.
They're maybe pushing a little bit too hard, getting a little sloppy, and that's not going to help them catch up and take those podium positions.
Not at all. But for now, Tony Cal in first, Winter in second, Moose in third. Moose is not far behind Winter at all. Now here again, though, these guys aren't dumb. They know Arctic is right behind them. And I hate to say, I hate to, have the imagery of ganging up on Arctic, but he just happens to be behind these past 2 races, right? So it's easy for these guys to say it's in the benefit of all of us. They know the standings. They know Arctic is in second. Moose is third behind Arctic, but he's down 32 points. Winter only 70 points. Now, granted, I know Winter wasn't in quite a few of these races, but he's still holding fifth in this championship. Gilly actually right ahead of Winter with 71 points. And Gilly, unfortunately,
and notably on that, Gilly made a move past Demon down the main straight. Giller's now up at P7. We're slowly working his way up. 2/3 of this race is done, though. Giller's going to have to put down the hammer to catch back up, and I think we could see Giller finish at P5 again, which is solid points. Maybe not where Giller wants to be. Again, not sure what happened at the start of the race, but solid points for sure.
Yeah, I mean, solid points for sure. And again, Giller, we keep saying how kind of patient Giller seems to be, as Winter puts up a hell of a sector 2 right there.
And followed by Arctic, just takes the purple sector right away from them.
And we see Moose going wide into the dirt. Tony also going wide in the dirt, but and Winter's now right behind Tony Cal. We're going to have a run once again. We're going to jump aboard real quick before he gets side by side with him. And these two are, I mean, no strangers to fighting each other. But you just love to see as Winter puts in the fastest. Does he? He does not.
145.1 from Winter, looking close. As Winter trying on the inside, maybe trying to fool Tony Cal. It's not going to happen, though, as Tony Cal defends, making that Miata way wider than it should be.
You'll have to see it, man. He must have those Crocs on, wide body mode or something. But you want to see the battling between these two. I mean, they just aren't stopping. How many laps have we been watching this battle? Excuse me. I can't talk. I'm so excited. As Tony Cal, Winter had a look there, and he was just ahead of him and going out of one corner. But Tony Cal gets the better exit and is able to maintain first place.
How close Moose is now. Moose is right behind, within 0.3. I mean, and Arctic is not far behind, within 3 seconds. Arctic is saying, I want to come out and play. Wait for me. But the three of them, again, Arctic's not an enemy, so to speak, but when Arctic joined the league, these three drivers and Giller were like, who is this Arctic man? Why is he so fast?
Come out of nowhere. Approaches.
A new challenger has approached, and they're working to stay ahead. The three of them, though, love seeing this close racing. Tony Cal somehow holding on to the lead. I don't know what's going on.
It is, I mean, it's easy to pass someone, but it's hard to pass someone, right? Because, even for someone who Tony's not used to racing on a controller or anything else like that, he's obviously doing a great job at defending, and he knows the lines that he wants to take as well. So it's not like that's changing so much. It's maybe just the speed at which he's able to do certain things, or, and luckily for him today, it's an MX5 Series Cup race where he doesn't have to deal with any sort of tire wear or fuel wear. He just has to worry about fighting. But we're going to go too wide going into T1 here. And it looks like Winter may have this position finally wrapped up for Tony Cal. He does make a final push into P1. And it looks like Winter is going to be holding on to the first place for now, as Tony's going to tuck in behind him, coming down to this second straight. And, man, that was a hard-fought battle. That was many laps in the making, I feel like, that Winter was finally able to make a move. And we'll see if he's able to make it stick for the remainder of this lap and see if he's able to lead the rest of this lap here. But Tony Cal is not going to make that easy, as Tony goes on the inside of that turn. We're side by side again, going onto the inside of the track here. Moose is right behind, trying to scoop up any sort of incident that's going to happen. And Arctic is just getting closer and closer as he's
Arctic's within a second now. Arctic is within a second. I mean, just scooping this up. Do not sleep at Arctic. We've got 7.5 more minutes of this race, and Arctic is right there now. So now we have a four-way fight for P1. I mean, what is happening here? Giller notably is within a second of Marino and P5. I don't think Giller's going to be able to make up 6 seconds to catch up, 6+ seconds to catch up. But I mean, a four-way fight for P1 is absolutely ridiculous.
The only thing I'll say, Arctic has been probably one of the guys to get. I would love to see like a penalty counter or something like that for each driver. But I know Arctic has been one to get arguably the most, at least among these four drivers, as far as track limits go. And I know it's something that they were fighting in practice as well. And it's each track seems to be a little bit different as far as how much you can cut off and everything. But we see all these guys cutting across like that, the pit lane and the white line, just trying to shorten the length of the track as much as possible. Arctic putting up a best lap, but not quite fast enough.
145.2.
Yeah,
I mean,
best
that's
personal.
like best personal, about half a second off the fastest lap from Winter. But these four are going at it. They're going at it hard. Phrasing, but that's another one for Tony Cal to throw in the highlights. Notably, Winter.
What is going? Are we just seeing lots of track position changes, or is my timer bugging out a little bit? I can't tell.
Yeah, no, looks like there's some lag coming in here because there seems some rubber banding for players.
Oh yeah, just a bit. Is this a setting in the lobby that's good? Is someone putting the lag switch going on?
Oh, I'm watching. I was just watching Arctic glitched out of your screen for a split second.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are doing that.
Not sure what technical difficulties are going on here, but hopefully it all stays well because this fight is too good to let down to technical difficulties.
Absolutely. I do want to keep our eyes on this. Do we have any other battles really going on right this second? I know Giller and Steezy are fairly close, but it looks like for the rest of it, it's just been fairly calm.
No, Giller is way ahead of Steezy. You mean Marino?
Marino, yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee Gilly's going to get P5, which is what I predicted. Again, solid points coming from the slow start that he had. Marino's not going to put it up without a fight. Purple is down in P7 with quite a gap between them to Steezy. I mean, it's all happening up front. They're all fighting for P1, and this is going to be literally a race down to the last moment, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've had some nail biters before. And I'm sure, as you know, these guys, it's not quite a lap counter here, but we have 5 minutes left of this race before the final lap will be called. And these guys are going to be fighting hard for the remaining laps that they do have here. I mean, let's see, 5 minutes. It's probably about, 3 laps?
3.5 laps?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we're not talking like about a lot of time, as Arctic is getting ever closer to Moose and Tony Cal. Moose and Tony finally fighting for their track position.
As they're going almost 3 wide into this turn. Who's going to come out on top? Arctic makes it purple sector 1.
Tony has the inside line, but now Arctic is going to have the little undercut switcheroo action going on maybe. We'll see Tony Cal maybe carrying a bit more speed, able to maintain that second place for now. Winter, on the other hand, just trying to freaking get out of here. He does not want any point of this fight at all. He wants to be gone.
No. Winter wants to take on P1 and forget about the rest of them.
Exactly. That would be a great finish for him as well to take it away from Moose. Moose desperately trying to cling on. He wants that second place, man, because he needs to be fighting with the rest of these guys as well. He needs Arctic and Tony to be falling back down. And it's really, I mean, there's going to be some hard fighting going on here for the next few turns. And if anyone gets a toe out of line, then we know that they can get a penalty. And that's just going to a track limits penalty, I should say. And that's just going to force him down a little bit, and that might let the door open for Moose as Arctic goes a little bit wide, or no, gets a little squirrely, I should say, and lets Moose catch up even closer. Gives Tony a tiny bit of breathing room, but not much at all.
And notably behind them, Giller did make the move on Marino. Giller's currently in P5, but there's an 8-second gap yet to Moose man in front. And with the toe that Moose has got now with behind Arctic and Tony Cal, I don't think there's a chance in hell unless there's a catastrophic incident. Of course, it's not what we want. Arctic right up behind Tony Cal there, maybe giving him a love tap. Tony going a little bit wide there. Curious line there. Not sure if that was a result of a love tap or anything, but they settle into line again. I think we're going to see them go 3 wide once more. Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing these guys fight once again as we're coming down to the second straight here. And I mean, I feel like we're back at Watkins Glen with how much these guys are fighting. You love now
to
Moose
see it.
notably trying a different line here. Moose actually following the same route that Arctic just did before, and now Moose takes back the place from Arctic. Tony Cal still up at P2 again, somehow holding on to that place. Moose though got to be happy once more with taking that place back, trying ever so longly to get ahead of Tony Cal. Some really close fighting there. Moose squeezes ahead of Tony Cal. Tony just couldn't hold on any longer, and Moose is gonna just try to get away. But again, these three are not gonna give it up. Arctic waiting in the background, waiting for that straight, I think, to really make a move. They're getting sloppy on the exit there, going to the grass a little bit, all of them.
This is so close. This is the racing you want to see from an MX5 series. This is exactly the kind of thing you want to see at the end of a race, as we have less than 2 minutes left for the final lap, and Tony Cal going to be trying to hold on to the back of Moose. He does not want Arctic behind him. He needs anything to happen. He needs to just try and claw his way back up the rear. Moose but I know Arctic to be having this tow, and Tony Cal might not be close enough for a tow. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to get that from Moose, which means that Tony's going to be vulnerable to Arctic coming down to this first turn.
I'm pretty sure if I didn't have my headphones on right now, I'd hear Tony Cal say, come on, cheering his little Miata on to go ever faster. Tony Cal, what is he going to do here into turn 1? Let's see, Arctic is on the outside. Tony Cal get a very, very, very tight line there. I think it worked out better for him, able to carry more speed on the exit out of turn 2. And Arctic now, though, right alongside Tony Cal, they're going to have a drag race down to turn
Arctic went wide, though.
Arctic track limits.
Arctic went wide. It allowed him to carry more speed, so he was able to gain that position from Tony, but you know, Tony now sees this half-second penalty. We're coming up. We have less than a minute left on this track. I don't know if the rest of the track is going to be a full minute or not. So, I mean, this might be the deciding factor, really. If they get another lap, Arctic may be able to catch up. I don't know. But, I mean, Tony's, you got to be patient, basically, and just kind of wait for this. But he's got to keep up with him at the same exact time.
Yeah, Tony's got to keep pace and use that track limit penalty. I mean, half-second is not a lot, really. But Tony Cal's going to have to be right up on the rear end. And to make it count, Tony Cal can taste the podium here. He's got to stay close. He's got to will that controller to do it. We have Tony Cal and Arctic, both controllers, fighting for podium. And I can't say that Moose is definitely going to do it, but I think Moose is going to take P2 unless there's a catastrophic mishap. As we see that that penalty bar on Arctic filling up Tony Cal, what can he do? Can he do it?
He can put a total line right now. He's got to try to make the most out of it. That penalty's going to be served here in just a few moments. He's got to have the best exit of his life as he comes down. Arctic serves that penalty. The time is closing down between these two. It's going to be drag race to the finish as we cross that 30-minute mark. This final lap, Tony Cal is the inside line. Arguably, he pulls ahead. Third place is going to be Tony Cal's, and I think it's going to be photo finish. Tony Cal takes third place. Barely ahead of Arctic in fourth place.
Barely ahead of Arctic. Tony Cal praying, thanking the Gran Turismo gods for that half-second penalty in Arctic that just let him get ahead.
That was a phenomenal end to a race that all these guys fought hard for. That was the hardest fought P3 we might have seen yet, and just such a close gap between. What a fight between Winter and Moose and Tony and Arctic for the entire race. We were focusing earlier on the midfield because these guys, you know, Giller and Marino and Purple and Steezy and Demon were all so close together, and then we jumped on board with these guys for what felt like half the race because they were just battling each other so closely for the entire time, and like respectful driving. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't see much of a toe out of line there. I don't even know who took home fastest lap. Do you?
I think it was. We'll check right here, but I think it was Winter. Let's check out the results. Yeah, Winter did take that fastest lap with a 1:45.1. I think, you know, I mean, Moose had an easier time in the first race because he was just putting time trial laps basically for, you know, after the first few laps there when Winter and Arctic fell down. But holy, Tony Cal jumping in the chat saying my heart rate on my Apple Watch just pinged that it's elevated. If I had my watch on right now too, it would be saying the same exact thing. What a race, man. And he is going to be happy about that because we're gonna see the. Tony got some well-deserved but much-needed points to stay ahead of Arctic today. And congrats to Winter for taking home P1 and the fastest lap for that reverse grid race. Moose Man taking second. Moose had a great day as well. I mean, Moose had pole position for qualifying for first race and P1 for that first race. Winter saying, Tony, that was epic as fuck what you did. Even seeing great race, but F them penalties. Yeah, man, I know. It's Jared saying that was nuts. That was nuts, dude.
That was absolutely wild to see in the Discord. Just a little snippet. Tony Cal saying, I don't know how you drive a controller. I gotta say, I give it to them too because I've done it for a few hours and my hands are cramping at the end of it. So to do this hard racing week after week with controllers, absolutely wild to see. What a race that was. I was clipping moments through both races, but that was just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that was insane to see. I mean, such a good fight in the midfield too. Purple coming home with 7th place is a really, really good finish especially compared to where they were the previous race as well. Gilly with a 5th place finish. Arctic fighting so hard today, and it might feel like all I got was a P4, but like that was a hard fought P4 for the second race.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
absolutely.
wild.
That was some of the closest fighting I think we've seen for sure.
Yeah, Steezy having a great race as well. Demon getting his arms, his elbows out, and fighting almost everybody this race again. Labu as well. Labu had fighting his inner demons, and Pato just zugging his way along. Pato, I do want to say, because he was having a hard time with the laps. His best lap was not far off at all. I mean, a second, yeah, it's some time, but I mean, compared to the rest of these guys, that was good to see, and we're getting more competitive as the season goes on, which is exactly what we want to be seeing. I don't know. I mean, that was a race. I feel like I need a nap after that one.
Yeah, that was absolutely something else. I just finished my second energy drink, and I feel like I need another one after all that, and probably a smoke too.
Yeah, probably.
Holy.
Yeah, I think cigarettes need as well, but just kidding. Don't smoke, everybody. Demon saying I tried so hard. I tried to defend so hard in that race. Yeah, man, I mean, that was brutal. That was a race for like the history books.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of good clips coming from that. I think we're going to have to ask Tony Cal to put together a highlight video for sure. And yeah, we had a couple of really great races this week and last week especially, man. Just something else.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. And I'm glad to see that the MX5 series is back. This series is definitely a favorite as far as those close battles. We have some close battles in Group 3. Like last week at Monza was great. But MX5, man, there's just something special about it. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is,
It's those little cars crying so hard, trying and crying so hard,
pushing
those rev limiters, really just doing whatever you can to push them as fast as they'll go.
But with that, I think we're gonna call it a day here. So thank you everyone for joining once again. That was a fantastic couple of races we had, and I know I had a smile on my face almost the entire time, making it hard to talk. So I hope you all did as well. We'll be back next Sunday, though. The 17th, we'll be with our Group 3 series at Watkins Glen. So if you've been here for a little while, you've seen the MX-5s at Watkins Glen. Now you can see some faster actual race cars at Watkins Glen. And it'll be interesting to see, at this time around, we'll have tire strategy and fuel strategy taken but also just the faster cars. And of course, will be the long course, whereas with the MX-5s we were on the short courses, so you'll see a bit more of the track as well, and I'm interested to see how that goes with the Group 3 cars. I
can't wait.
It's a great track, and
it's one of my favorite tracks, and it's so near us. We got to get up there one day for a race, maybe next season at ISMA. But yeah, I hope everyone joins us for Watkins Glen. If you missed parts of this race, the VOD will be available on Twitch, but we'll also be putting that up on YouTube if you prefer watching there. Appreciate everyone jumping in, chatting with us, and everything. It was a great race.
Great race, and I guess we'll see y'all next week. Have a terrific evening, day, wherever you're at. See you next time.
Cheers, everyone.